and welcome to Carlini Field in Washington, D.C., where your 3-0 Washington, D.C. Shadow are taking on your 3-0 Philadelphia Surge for the top place in the East Division of the Premier Ultimate League. We have a hot game today between your top offense of the Shadow with your top defense of the Surge. Should be a tight matchup. Both big players from both teams coming out hot. Going to be making a really gritty game today with the weather conditions as they are. Very rainy, especially right now, going into the first pull. My name is Laurel Oldershaw, and I'm joined here by Asako Yamamoto and Molly Roy. Folks, how are you? What are you thinking for the game?
Well, I think it's going to be a super exciting matchup. Both are facing the toughest competition they've faced so far, and it's going to be great to see them.
It'll be exciting to see if how Surge comes out in their toughest game of their career as a team, and Shadow if they can use the home court to their advantage.
Yeah, and you know, unfortunately, the rain deterring potentially some Philly folks from coming down here, but we're still expecting a big crowd, I would say. But it is going to be a fun matchup, I would say, for both teams. This is their hardest of the season, and both are expecting to see one another again come championship weekend, which will also be here right in D.C.
And they know each other really well, which complicates things.
They do. 5 players on Philadelphia Surge coming from D.C. Shadow last year. A couple folks who also played on Washington, D.C. Scandal. So there is a lot of overlap in players and a lot of knowledge of one another up and down the roster, I would say. It's kind of been the most fun thing to watch from Philadelphia this year. Many players, not all 25 playing together during the club season, but you still see a lot of overlap in small pockets of 4 or 5 folks.
So we'll see if they get some chemistry going today.
Yeah, for sure. Any players you're both very excited to watch for?
Well, I feel like Lindsay McKenna's been playing really well for Philadelphia, so we'll see how the weather conditions affect her long throws, but her long to medium throws have been super effective, so
I would shout out Allison Maddox, who I'm excited to watch come back, who I have played with over the years, and see her take over.
Yeah, Allison Maddox's throws these years have looked better than hers in the past, which is hard to believe because she's somebody that I learned to throw watching, and it's just so fun to see her stretch out, have really nice long inside breaks, particularly being a lefty, and doing a really strong role as a D-line handler this year.
Exactly.
But it should be fun. On the other side, you have the legend Raha Mozaffari, also on the D-line for Surge, with Linda Morse and Liz Hart from AMP. All 3 of them playing together, all 3 of them significant defenders and O-line players, I would say. So having that experience both on both sides of the disc, Philadelphia Surge's break conversions being so high, you know, DC Shadow has to be really afraid to turn over the disc as the O-line. So we'll see if they come out a little hesitant or defensive in that way.
Another twist in the story being Claire Trope absence.
Claire Trope is absent this weekend, so that's definitely a big hole on the Shadow roster. Shadow does pride themselves on having a very deep roster. So it'll be curious to see how they fill that role of both first cutter, second cutter, third cutter, first thrower, second thrower, third thrower that Trope always seems to be a part of.
And I know the big focus for Shadow has been clean holds. Once you get the turn, then a clean break. So if they can put that together today, it can make a big difference.
And last time they played here, they were extremely clean, not getting broken at all against Indianapolis Red or Indy Red. So you're going to see that O-line still be strong. Trope on the D-line, so hopefully that doesn't impact the O-line too much. But it does take away a few options if the O-line does get broken. You don't have Trope that you could put in for an easy kind of easy goal, essentially, open pass to kind of start that offense movement as the second line that comes out after a break.
Got to use the whole roster today.
Yes. Yeah. And that'll be another challenge, I would say, for Surge. You know, does their roster from top to bottom equal the star power that Shadows does? Can they keep up? I expect them to be extremely gritty, but there's that small detail on paper that Shadow is a little bit deeper.
Agreed.
Should be a fun highlight game, though. I definitely think Lindsay McKenna's role, both on offense, moving it down the field to Alfonso on surge. We should also see Dre Sabado and Danielle Wash behind the disc. With these conditions, I expect to see some variations in defensive strategy, different looks, different zones. And so their chemistry that they have from playing years of AMP together, I think is going to be a really key factor for this game for Surge to maintain their O-line consistency. Same thing for Shadow. I expect Marge Walker having an incredible year as the young handler, backed by Shirley Wool on that O-line side for handling on Shadow. And downfield, you've had a lovely season by Claire France coming in from Kansas City Ultimate, and she's been quite the addition to the O-line for sure.
And the opportunity for Lizzie Laurie to go downfield, who has been a handler, at least in DC this past year. So it's been exciting to get her to stretch her legs a little bit.
She is so effective downfield. And once she gets it, then she can throw an assist. Perfect.
Especially with Kat Ritzman almost perfectly healthy from an ankle sprain early in the season. Her and Laurie playing together beyond the initial handler set is really fun to watch.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So up and down the roster, we do have one very special shout out we'd like to make before we get started, and that is to the lovely Jess Sourbeer on DC Shadow. Happy birthday, Jess.
Happy birthday, Jess.
If you're out there watching online, definitely text her and shoot her a message on social media. She's going to have a lot to open up after this game. I will say Sourbeer is one of the most fun players that got moved to the D-line this year. She's been playing O-line for Scandal last year. She used to play D-line back in her Penn State days, or back then she played everything for Penn State. But she looks so incredible on defense. She's had many blocks up and down, both in warm-ups and in the games. And the movement that she has with Maddox, I think, is really fun to watch. They have great chemistry coming out this year.
She did tell me one time that pulling was her favorite thing, so I'm sure she's excited to be on D-line right now.
Yes.
Super quick feet. Super quick feet.
Super quick feet. And I think in this weather, you know, are you expecting a little bit more small ball today? Or do you think, because what I can't tell from the flags is the wind. Sometimes when it's wet, it's not windy, and you can still get those hucks off relatively easy. Any thoughts on how you're adjusting today as a coach or a player?
I do think Shadow has been emphasizing the front of the stack initiation, so getting that small touches to at least get the disc started. So definitely expect that to continue today, especially with the rain.
For sure. Setting up in a vert stack, is that Molly usually thinking?
Yeah, I feel like I've seen them do vert stack, but also like a stack at an angle.
Stack
you know, the
at
vert stack
an
the
angle.
angle going.
Yes.
We'll see if we see that, if I'm right.
Yeah, and I think, you know, one thing Surge did really well against Radiance, the Raleigh Radiance, is they spread the field a lot. And it'll be interesting to see if the wind takes away those 15-yard swinging throws that really open up the field and allow them to open up the middle and hit, you know, Sabado or Walsh streaking through the middle, getting into power position. There's a lot of those give-go plays that they've specifically practiced.
Right, and they shoot it right off the give-go, and it's been effective. But we'll see how the conditions affect it, because I think there's enough rain to really push it down.
Push the disc down and keep it from going too far.
Yes.
So right now, taking a look at the coin toss. Disc toss, I should say.
There's a lot of reunions happening out on the field there. Former teammates hugging each other.
All right, DC Shadow has won the flip.
So it looks like DC Shadow won the flip and is electing to pull. So electing to start on defense, kind of a power move as a D-line player myself. Love to see that. But I do think that puts a lot of pressure on Serge's O-line right away. So it's a good move.
Yes, and there's always a chance that the rain will be a little bit less when they can pull, when they can receive later on. So.
Ooh, see the strategy there, Asako.
One can hope, one can hope.
We will see. All right, so.
The fans are starting to come in. Lots of umbrellas.
One day Ultimate will be a sport where we give out umbrellas that'll say phrases, but today is not that day, so do let us know if you see any fun umbrellas in the crowd. All right, and you see Shadow's D-line stepping out there. Going left to right, you see Allison Maddox there with the disc. So obviously setting up to pull. Right behind her, Jess Sourbeer, number 25. Right to Jess's left, you see there Nada Tremonti. I'm also, Nada, I will always say I love watching her on D-line, having originally seen her on O-line. When I first met her and started playing with her, she is going to be a stunner today, I think, on D-line. Let's see. You got Erin McCann. From Pittsburgh out there as well, with Ashley Buke, Jess O with the glove, solitary glove, and Amanda Murphy. Murphy being the stats leader, blocks leader right now in the PUL. So she extremely fast. Is gonna have, this is a great game for her.
Yes.
And the pull is off. Center there to Lindsay McKenna. I did not see that being the way Surge would start their offense.
No, that's a little different from what they've been doing.
Coming out in a hoe stack.
Oh, it looks like there's a little wobble there. I'm not sure if she got a piece of it or.
Good side-to-side movement here.
There was a call.
Can't quite tell what the call was. But Walsh will start with it there in the middle. Finds Sabato. Ooh, out to Walsh, potentially a trip.
Oh, dear.
And she is down, unfortunately.
I don't think I saw contact, so I wonder if it was just something.
I think it was just a trip. Sourbeer, 25, really went through that D in the middle of, it was a good angle, but I think she just accidentally clipped Walsh on the back.
Okay.
It's a tough part of Ultimate, being non-contact. So we'll see the replay here. And yeah, looks like just a little bit of contact there with the foot. Very accidental contact that happens pretty frequently. Ooh, nice inside break there from McKenna.
Good pressure from Jess.
To find Sarah Hirona. Oh, and the diving through by McCann.
There's a strip call, I think.
Against Rachel Alfano.
No contest.
Finds Sabato. And I love the way that Surge right now is really opening up the field with those inside throws. But a miss up there from Natalie Bova.
On that swing throw, you were wondering how it would go.
It goes up.
Immediately.
Oh, just a little too far.
Huge throw from Maddox, though. I'm here for it, too. The speedy Murphy sets Surge back to go another 70. Or I should say 80. Is it 80 or 70? I should know this. We'll get back to you. Ignore us. We just love Ultimate. And the big, sad bobble. Tough bobble there on the sideline.
Which shows you even in the PUL, field position can be important.
Yeah, and that's, you know, we expect to see a few bobbles today.
Yes, with these conditions.
It's going to be a little bit wet. Some players electing to wear gloves that don't typically wear gloves. Swing around to just, oh, finds Tremonti on the open side. Tremonti looking for the reset to the center, finds McCann.
Nice reset.
Good pressure there on the mark from Alfano. Finds Sour Beer, back to Tremonti. Looking for McCann on that inside break. Oh, nice movement to the outside to Tremonti, and just a little far over. Sabato there to collect it. But still, you have Surge starting in their end zone, and this is the third time that we're going to have to see them go about 70 yards.
Nice catch.
Huge throw. It looks like it was a pick, so she has to catch it. Oh.
Oh, it was in her hand.
In and out of her hands because it was a pick, and she dropped it. It is going to register as a turnover.
It's always a bummer when you put in the work to get down there and then don't quite reel it in.
Well, especially it seems like it touched the inside of her hand, the palm of her hand, which is always tough because you grab it and then it just pops right out.
Another wet disc situation, though, probably.
Tremonti getting a lot of touches in early. Playing this front of the stack role, initiating role you were talking about, Molly.
And distributing well.
Being that centering option.
Shadow showing some good patience.
Good flexing in movement as well from Surge, though. Taking away the next available throw or the next available look.
Oh, looks like it was a foul call.
It looks like it just slipped out of Tremonti's hands.
Oh, no call.
That was a very specific look. I feel like you always see
a rainy day, turn.
When you look at your hand like it betrayed you.
Yeah. I feel like that's, you know, that's the video that's going on the We're Having Fun lowlights video at the end of the year. You could say the weather takes the situation out of Tremonti's hands.
Looks like it's a contested strip ball.
Great pressure from the Shadow defense today.
Yes.
Sabato finds McKenna. Great leading pass down the line.
Oh, that's a good. Can Amanda get there?
Looks to the end zone for Alfano, and in and out of her hands as well.
Well, that I would put that on Amanda Murphy's stat book right there, though. Her
pressure was enough.
Yes, the pressure was enough.
And that's, I believe, the 6th drop of the point. So I really do think it's going to be a grind if the weather stays like this. Some players on the sideline there behind the field, you can see already warming up the disc, trying to feel out what the disc feels like in this weather. Maddox to Tremonti in the middle. Maddox cut up line. Sees Ashley Butte cutting deep and wants to find her. Big, beautiful outside in throw to Buke, but again, the drop. McKenna picks it up right away with the deep throw to Rachel Alfano. And this one in front of Jess Sourbeer finds the continue to Sarah Hironet. And the Surge finally score.
It was a very long first point.
That's a long first point. That's a long hold. I would say both teams really shaking off that wetness, ready to reset and set up. The D-line is going to want to talk about that, having a few chances really close to the end zone.
Doesn't look like either side was afraid to put it up, though.
No, agreed.
For conditions, they're shooting still.
Especially the Surge side, in fact.
Shadow now, and you see that replay there, just following the field. And the thing is, you know, Surge is a new team this year, but that's an established community. Philadelphia, for a long time, has been putting out great players. It's a large local public league community. And so you see it, like I'm excited to see and expect that same level of grit and endurance and strength from this team that we're seeing so far. It's not just their top players, but there's a lot of players there who are coming out to play hard today.
Yes.
Pull from Linda Morse goes about half field. The Shadow O-line coming out with the pickup from Walker. Finds Carolyn Normile at the front of the stack. And Carolyn Normile,
to Kat.
Great opening throw there to Kat Ritzman, who finds Lizzie Laurie in the end zone. Beautiful, clean hold from Shadow. There's that Ritzman-Laurie connection we were talking about.
Yes.
I will.
Super calm.
So
Super
calm.
calm.
They came out to execute, and they executed. And I think that's going to be Shadow's #1 thing that they have to do on that O-line. Great options there, too, from their cutters downfield. As soon as one person got looked away, you had another fill in a different space.
Yes. Proving once again that old saying, long point always followed by short point.
I haven't heard that.
I don't know if I've heard that either. What happens after the short point?
Then you go back to normal again.
Okay.
Reset. the
Reset.
balance. Okay.
Or maybe a big break for Shadow. Who knows here?
Here we go.
Let's see. That's a nice roller.
Shadow bringing out a new D-line. And looks like they're setting up right away in a zone. I believe that looks like a 3-3-1. That first layer, of Jackie Wang on the mark with Addie Malave and Annalise Peters really taking away the front of the field.
Yep.
Maddie Boyle, Lisa Dang, and Liv Monroe there in that second layer with Allie Wallace in the deep space.
Oh, Surge got some couple going through the middle though there.
That is great movement that I expect that from Surge. Walsh up to Hiranet. Good defense there on the mark from Allie Wallace. Oop. Back around to Walsh, who almost bobbles it. Still very wet on the field.
I think there's a discussion with Annalise.
Looks like potentially a contested foul call. Surge set up in a vert stack look.
And Shadow in person. Collapse in that zone.
Oh, Lisa Dang with that. Good. That was a good attempt.
That was very close. Good poach off there. Option from Dang. This leaves the player open in the end zone for the continued score. I do want to see more zone looks from Shadow. I do want to see zone looks from both sides because I secretly, not so secretly, love zone. I will say, I did not see Surge get rattled at all at that point. O-line was extremely smooth.
Yep. Answered back with a short point of their own.
So now we get a long point? We'll see.
We'll see. The short points don't necessarily bring on the long points. The long points bring on the short points.
We get to see Shadow's O-line out there. From the left side of your screen, you have Megan Bartlett, first-year player, Blaise Sevier, Carolyn Normile, Kat Ritzman, Marge Walker, and Jenny Fay returning, as well as Lizzie Laurie. Jenny Fay back from baby number 2 and excited to be here. She's like a kid in a candy shop getting to throw her around throws.
That's right. Conditions don't bother her.
Not at all. Sevier there with that first cut. Normile streaking deep, and Sevier finds Ritzman in the middle, leading Walker on. Huge look crossfield to Lizzie Laurie. Point number
Nice.
2 for Lori.
She was open on the right side of the field, and she was open on the left side of the field.
It is really fun to see her as downfield as she is. It's an entirely different role for her this year than she played last year. Really stretching the field deep back to her pre-COVID Molly Brown days.
Yes, look at her big old smile as she catches that.
Lori, one of the captains for Shadow. What were you going to say, Molly?
Yeah, coming from Colorado where they get to chase the discs that just hang for even longer.
Yep.
So she's going to stretch her legs doing that again.
And that's a nice throw from March, too. She saw the opening right away.
Yeah, Shadow's throwing into spaces. Both teams throwing into those wide open spaces, about 20 to 30 yards downfield.
And that was against Emma on Surge, who's a very tall player.
That's true.
Dangerous in the air.
Yeah, it's a good matchup of Emma Soils against Lizzie Laurie.
Oh,
Surge there with a second throw turnover. Shadow to pick it up. Maddox and Sourbeer behind the disc finds Tremonti again as that initiating movement. To Buke, Sourbeer streaking up line. Maddox with the upline cut. Sees Beans. Oh, huge bid.
good block.
Great block there from number 15, Lane Dodge. And we're just going to see the replay. Tight window.
Yeah, the window had just closed, I think.
Great bid. Oh, and almost a Callahan
Yes.
from Maddox on the recentering
That was
play.
Callahan
And just
territory.
a light drop there from Sabado. And Maddox finds Jess O, and there's the first break of the game for DC Shadow.
Oh, fans are going crazy.
Fans definitely excited for that.
I think Jesso may have some of the loudest, or maybe the largest number of fans.
That's true. She has her own fan club out there.
Also, first-year player on the Shadow. It's very exciting to see her out here dominating.
Fellow Black Widow. I feel like me and Asako always got to call her out for that one.
That's right, that's right.
Speaking of whom, Black Widows facing off today at Beach Nationals in Huntington Beach. So sending some love their
That's
way.
right. Big shout out to Black Widows.
And coaches decide to leave that line out there for Shadow D. You don't see that always often. They've been pretty good at really fluctuating between D1 and D2 lines. But they're trying to roll this. And keep in mind, this line that we see out typically has Claire Trope on it. So for them to look as strong as they do, and perhaps they're just missing, one or two connecting throws, right? They still look really strong. Surge now, McKenna to pick it up. Finds Liz Hart, who they're switching on to this point with Raha Mozafari. Good movement. Definitely a little junky there.
Yes.
Finds Linda Morse. Ooh. Oh, great hold on there from Hart, from Milligan.
That was amazing concentration.
Mozafari there on the sideline as well, looking to center it. Milligan cutting up line, goes around. Murphy almost on the D, finds McKenna to Sumi Onoe. This is a great matchup between Mozafari and Buke. Buke doing a little defensive trick there to look at the thrower, but Onoe finds Mozafari anyways. Oh, big bid.
That's the thing with the tight defensive pressure. It tends to build up and then eventually cause a turnover.
Yeah, you might not get the first throw or the second throw, but third one, it's yours.
Ooh.
Oh,
Good bid
nice
there
catch.
from Maddox on the throw by Sourbeer. Little offhand backhand from Sourbeer. Big
Oh,
bid
nice
there
catch.
by Buke. Gosh, this is going to be a wet day of bids. I'm into it. Finds McCann on the recenter to
See how far
Maddox.
they can slide.
Yes, it's true. They're going very far after they catch it.
Now remember, you can't slide into the end zone. It's from the first point of contact.
Oh, gosh darn. Spoil sport.
You see a vert stack set up here for Shadow, Tremonti with the disc, Sour Beer and Maddox downfield. And the clock is off, so what's going to happen now in the PUL? Shadow gets this possession. If they hold on, huge bid there from Anoa, and that is going to end the quarter.
Always feels anticlimactic to get the
Yes,
D and then not be
it's
able
true.
to pick it up and go. But
Oh my
But
gosh.
they prevented a score.
It's the worst part of being D-line in practice, and you're doing like 5 pull.
stop, reset.
Yeah.
No offense for you.
That's a great momentum shake, though, I would say, for Surge, especially moving into the second quarter. However, I would say Shadow is going to get the disc to start the second quarter. So Surge is going to have to do that again, but this time they really get to start off with their D-line. Some of the players you're seeing flex into that point right there. Quick look at the Shadow sideline there. Murphy having a great game so far as an option both downfield and on defense in the disc.
I love those colorful bandanas. I wonder if they're useful at all in the rain.
Yeah.
They're soaked already.
Eventually they'll get soaked, but yes, you can always bring them out.
Yeah.
I feel like the same theory as eye black. Half of it is useful, half of it is superstition.
For the look.
Want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. The live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. Spin Ultimate, providing custom team uniforms and ultimate apparel since 2007. Visit Spin on the web at spinultimate.com. So 1 quarter down, 1 point difference. If you're Surge at the moment, what are you changing going into the second quarter?
We've seen DC come out with some junks, and I wonder if that's preventing Surge from taking as many of those deep shots we saw in the first point. Don't know if they're trying to get back to that or if they've decided they don't need to do that as much against these junks. So it'll be interesting to see if they come back to that.
Yeah, I think the goal is probably to get it either in the middle or in power position and to send it. That would be my guess. It's a formula that's worked for them for the first 3 games, so.
I would like to see the handlers move a little bit with pace as well. You know, a lot of times Walsh and Sabato really starting on their heels and just without that initial momentum in the pull play, which I do think, as you said, is being shut down by the junk look, is really preventing them from getting an initiation onto kind of the offensive foot.
And with the rain, you got to really get your disc behind, or body behind the disc.
Yes.
To make sure it's safe.
So here's the pull for the second quarter from Morse.
That's a good pull.
Kath Ratcliffe to pick it up to Walker. And we see a junk here from Surge. Sevier to get it in the middle of the field. DC looking to just kind of grab their shape, it seems. Sevier and Walker going back and forth. Surge transitioning to Person now. Ratcliffe out to Ritzman. Looks off Normile, marked by Mozafari. Love that matchup. Around to Sevier. Finds back to the middle of Ratcliffe, who finds Normile on the break side. DC,
Nice break.
Beautiful toe by Walker. Finds Sevier back in the centering role, who finds Walker again. Good push from Surge to push DC back out of the end zone, but Normile just gets a foot ahead of Mozafari. And
Yes.
there's Walker.
It's basically a dominator.
Basically a dominator, going every other. Yeah, Walker's having a great season.
Yes.
There's a lot of trust on that O-line. I feel like
Yes.
the cutters letting space for whoever was initiating at that time.
The
and
cutters
then
were giving
recognizing when they
a
need
nice,
to go in.
easy around cuts to the break side, and the handlers were knowing that the handlers can throw that.
I will say you can definitely tell watching Shadow play this year compared to last year. The chemistry is just entirely different, the way that it has benefited the team. There's nothing paralleled to the experience of just having reps with one another.
Looks like Sabado's giving words of advice to the line there.
Trying to get this O-line together. I guess that's effectively the double break that we see in club seasons, right? If you get the break and then you get the offensive score. So DC now up 2. McKenna to Walsh. And there's the deep look.
Oh, 2 DC players there, but
slight
quite
misread. Bova
that's a
to
nice
McKenna.
mark. Oh,
Ooh, and just the drop there from McKenna.
that was a good mark to prevent the round. Cause the turnover.
Sour beer now to McCann on the sideline. You're definitely getting a lot of first looks from Shadow to that high side of the field. To Maddox, to Tremonti up the line, to Buke. Murphy streaking deep, and there's another one.
There's another rain day.
Slipped out of the fingers.
Rain day flick.
McKenna now to Sabado, to Walsh. Upfield to Alfano. A little bit of a horizontal stack from Serge.
Oh.
Nice break throw in the middle there.
Yeah, it's a very small window. She made it through.
And Walsh tries to step around Sourbeer to find Sabado or Bova. Seemed like they were both cutting to that space.
So right in the middle, unfortunately.
Tremonti open on the under. That's it looks like a consistent line of folks cutting. Maddox to Tremonti to Buke. At the moment, it's Murphy to huge bid from Ashley Buke. And just off of her hands again.
Just off of her hands.
McKenna to pick up. Throws it.
Oh.
Big toss deep.
Get it back, get it back.
2 Shadow players around the disc. Marking up against Alfano and
Double coverage.
injury is called for Jess O. You gotta hope she's okay. Hopefully she just got her foot stepped on. Not to downgrade her pain, but that is very uncomfortable.
Yes.
And hopefully it is just something minor and nothing major.
Just short term.
Yeah. Walker subbing on now for DC to start on O, or to take over the disc on offense. And Liz Hart coming on from Surge. Walker finds Buke, finds Maddox, finds Sourbeer there on the open side, finds a streaking Tremonti up the line.
Shadow players are getting good separation.
To Maddox. Beautiful around break there from Maddox to Sourbeer. Travel from Sourbeer.
Come on, it's her birthday.
Pick six. Walker to Sourbeer.
Oh, there was a miscomm there.
Miscommunication. Looking for that continue side on the break. And McKenna picks it up. I will say the challenge of having McKenna behind the disc and picking it up on a dead disc is that she's unavailable to be that first cut option, and therefore, you kind of see that stagnancy from the downfield cutters on Surge.
I wonder if they're keeping her back behind the disc more to keep Buke out of the deep space. I mean, her deep throws are also very dangerous, so that is, you know, good reason to have her back there as well. But
it does seem like they're throwing medium. She's throwing a lot of medium to long throws, even just to get the disc onto this side.
I think a factor of that too is the reset handlers for Surge are just coming a couple seconds late.
Yes. Which is kind of, I think, shows how the Shadow defense is affecting them. You know,
yeah.
Because the Shadow reset defense has been really good. And so
taking away that initial look. But Surge here calling the timeout, switches out their 7 players. And we see some of the we see some folks coming over from the D-line. So we see basically an entire D-line here. Nikki Tucker-Ross, former Scandal player, long-term Green Means Go player, former Space Eater player also, little Washington, D.C. shout-out.
Talk about dangerous deep throws.
yes.
Yes.
And fresh legs.
And fresh legs. And these folks haven't gotten much time on the field because the O-line's been working very smooth for Shadow. So they're ready to go. Tucker to Liz Hart. To Emma Soils. Morse looking deep. Casey Gorman now on the reset to Hart. Ross cutting across. Oh, and it's Onoya, and just a slight drop there. Good pace, though, from Surge. Big mark there from Ross on Wang. Good mark from Mozafari, and tries to hit Murphy up line because the reset is unavailable, and that's just a missed throw.
That was a good mark from Surge.
Ross to Mozafari. Looking
Tucker
for cutters.
Tucker's asking, where's my cut? Oh, nice catch.
Huge bid from Mozafari. There's the deep look.
Oh.
There's the streaking Emma. Gorman still deep. Onoa is still open deep. This is the fast break pace that we've been missing from Surge. Oh, big bid again from Mozafari. One of the strongest players I've ever seen.
She is burning it out there.
Little pause there, but Hart on the open side there. Onoa, nice little sneaky cut in front of Murphy. Hart, great upline cut, potentially open.
Yes.
And there's another look to that same space. Oh, right over the jumping McCann, and Hart gets it. Good hold from Surge. Tough because it wasn't their O-line, so O-line still, I can imagine being a little confused. But you got a momentum option right here. Gonna take a look back at some of the turns in that point. Again, just a sloppy, challenging game at the moment, I would say. Some of those OI and IO break throws that most throwers would have at this level, just not connecting.
Yeah, the D-line came in with good energy here.
And here we're gonna see that score, and just right over McCann. Good spot from Hart.
That's a big point.
It's a big point. But D-line's O-line has had quite a good amount of time to rest. So they're ready to come out. The only person that we've really seen moving a little has been Walker and some on normal coming out on the timeout of that last point. Morse with the pull again. Donna Graham on the mark there. Gwen Rowe right next to Allie Milligan. And it looks like a little bit of a poachy, junky look from Surge. Takes away kind of that middle of the field. Nice over the top from Walker. She's got to be taking notes from Ratcliffe. That's her signature throw. Finds France. Normile found unmarked.
Oh, open. Lizzie's so open. Oh, but throws out.
Good look from Normile to a streaking Lori. And a big chance for a break here from Serge. Plenty of time still left in the first half.
That's right.
Plenty of time still left in the game.
Chance to tie it up, in fact.
Looking now, current conditions, it's very humid out there. Temperature's still very warm, even though it's very rainy. And you see some wind. I can't quite tell. Maybe y'all can see what direction the wind is going. I think it's just all around and wet and gross, but
The flag is very still, though.
flag is very still. And you see just a wet throwaway there, too. Seems like the disc held on to Soils' glove, which is always the challenge of wearing gloves. Walker to Lori to Normile. Good use of the width of the field. Now in their end zone. So Wool, a lefty, finds Sevier on the far side. It hangs up.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Cannon almost with the D for Serge. Morse gets a mark on quick.
Oh!
What a look! That was practically over the shoulder to a streaking Walker. Let's take a look at that one more time. I've loved seeing Sevier also coming over from the mixed division. And you just see her playing such a wonderful hybrid role in the front of that stack.
Yes, she is so quick also.
Wow, Graham
That was
from Serge.
that was a
almost with
cheeky
the D.
throw.
That was cheeky, yeah.
Cheeky throw after a gritty catch.
Yeah.
Looked like she wanted to take the safe dump, but the cheeky throw is the only thing available.
I know. Like, well, if I have to throw a cheeky throw, I'm going to do it.
Is that what you say to yourself, Asako, when
That's
you're
right.
playing?
That's right.
Yeah.
If I have to. Blaze Servio is such a dominating figure in college ultimate back in her UVA days. I feel like it's all coming back. And Blaze is such a good Frisbee name, isn't it? Blazes down the field.
Maddox with the big pull. It's going to go out of bounds. Serge will take it in the middle of the field. Pretty good field position. McKenna starting downfield. Good matchup between here and Buke. Tremonti also with the help deep on that.
There's been good defense downfield.
A lot of space between the handlers and cutters. That stack is definitely a little deep. Throw around. Ooh, almost.
Oh.
McKenna in and out of her hands. That throw from Walsh, just a little unsteady.
A little bit too lady. Oh, she shoots.
Maddox looking for Murphy again. Seems like today they've really greenlit that throw on the first, especially on the first possession from Shadow, just to put Serge again back in their end zone. Great matchup for McKenna and Buke.
Yes, very good matchup there.
Ooh,
Oh.
big defense there from Tremonti on Bova. Shadow's going to get it close to their end zone. And
Is that
Coach
a timeout?
Taya Adderhold throwing the green timeout towel. Wants to sub in an O-line here. Getting close to the end of the first half.
Yes.
That was a Shadow timeout. And I believe that'll be their first timeout of the half of the quarter. Can't take them with you. You got to use them.
That's
and
right.
They're definitely a little bit more strategic in PUL, I would say. Not more strategic. There's a lot of strategy in club, but they're a little bit different.
Oh, because of the line changes. Nice D by Nada.
See her really taking off that angle. Surge.
That entire point, the DC downfield D was very tight.
They're doing a really good job at pushing Surge downfield. So getting in front of the disc on the open side, taking away those unders. Especially with their handlers being so stagnant, their deep throws are coming from non-power position, right? From a standstill. And that's just is taking away a little bit of the distance that they can get on their throws. Walker here to pick up, finds Sevier. Great mark by Gorman. Finds Ritzman. Ritzman looking for the front corner, and there's Tremonti with the bookends.
Oh, bookends for Nada.
I noticed they let her stay on after subbing in the O-line.
Oh,
except
that's
for Tremonti.
true.
Yeah.
You get the D, you get to stay on the score.
Yeah.
Fair, fair. And a chance to get bookends, which she did.
Tremonti always a really solid continue option, first cut option on that under movement.
She's having a tremendous game.
Great game. And Surge is bringing out that O-line again that they just subbed off. Walking now back to the line. Definitely looking a little dejected, I would say. You know, this is the tough first kind of big moment that Surge has ever been down. This is the first big moment they've ever had to really come back. And it's going to be interesting to see how they as a team work through that. Also recognizing that the O-line compared to some of their key D-line players have just had a lot more time on the field.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the coach manages that player energy and efficiency going into the second half.
Dare I say the rain is starting to stop at all?
It looks like it's slowing down. We're seeing fewer umbrellas from the sidelines.
It's tight.
Walsh to Bova. Definitely a little junky. They've got about 5 players from Shadow all within a 20-yard box. Or I guess a officially 40-ish square yard box. 400 square yards. I'm a humanities person. All right. All you math folks don't. Sabado, Bova, and Walsh doing a great job with that movement. Tough trying to get there. Cutters not quite there for the continue. Shadow still in that junky look. Kind of a loose 3-person cup. Wang on the mark. Really preventing that around center and making Sabado really center or get that around throw, losing about 10 yards consistently per throw.
Yeah, they've been pushing them back.
Walsh with that step up around to Bova. Bova wants to call her shot. Stretch out the field. Great mark from Wing, still forcing Sabado to get it about 10 yards deep. Bova there in the middle. It's a light hole just between Wang and her 2 marks around her. Going up and over to Walsh. Finally finds McKenna, gets her first hands at the point. Now again, it is the end of the quarter, which means that Surge will have the last possession here. So Shadow just has to get a D to end the quarter, and Surge can take as long as they want to finish this quarter. So you know they're thinking about scoring.
Yes.
And I love to see just these easy throws. In zone, all you need are 100 throws, at least.
Ali Wallace doing a good job there, covering, making them go backwards.
It's McKenna to Walsh.
Such patience from the Surge line.
Downfield
Yeah,
to
They know
Hironet.
they have all the time.
Exactly. Good look there from Walsh to McKenna. Takes the shot to Bova, and that is a great point from Surge.
It pays off.
It pays off.
That was their best point so far.
That was, yeah.
Maybe the conditions improving helped them?
By far. It'll be interesting to see. I thought it was going to be the opposite, that the conditions were going to neutralize the game a little bit more, but perhaps with the rain going away, we're going to see more of that kind of even-keeled position. And just gonna end the half now. We have Shadow 6, Surge 4. Second half coming up next. We're going to see if Surge can make a comeback or if Shadow can keep their unbeaten streak. One of these teams will be adding a loss to the loss column. Shadow hoping to maintain that their offensive holds. But it really will come down to whichever team can break the most going into the second half.
It's a gritty game like we expected.
And it's not over.
Nope.
I think the thing about grit is this is what the second half is for.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbee. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at Toy, Drug, and Department Store.
And a raffle ticket for an official DC Shadow jersey.
To start us off, Alexandria is pulling the disc. Let's see the Shadow for Alexandria. Here we go. Here we go!
It's a little drizzle.
Oh, we got an Alexandria right here. Make it loud, make it loud. Alexandria, you got the fans out here for you. You want to hear anyone for Lake Braddock out here? Oh.
And welcome back to Shadow versus Surge. We're joined here by Coach Ty Adderhold from the DC Shadow. Welcome, Coach. What are you most excited for so far that you've seen?
I think we're putting a ton of defensive pressure on them, making them make a ton of really hard passes and catches, and we're seeing the disc hit the ground a lot, which is great for us.
Huge opportunities. The offense looking a little looser than some other games in the past. Moving forward into the second half, what are you going to really focus on?
It's about hitting open hands. I think if we get to our third read, we're going to have a player that is open pretty much every time. So it's just about trusting that, moving through our systems, finding the open player. With our 7-on, there's going to be someone who is always getting open in our O-line, so just got to trust that.
And what players are you most excited for that you've seen on Shadow so far?
Oh, I mean, so many. I will shout out, Marge Walker has come in to our O-line, become our center handler. She's been playing well, had some sweet throws in the first half. Blaze is having a great game today. Also want to shout out Jess O, really anchoring some of our possessions on the D-line. Unfortunately, she took a knock there in the first half, but she's been playing great.
And will she be coming back for the second half?
A little touch and go there. We're going to see. She's icing it down, making sure there's not any bigger damage there, and we'll see. If not, we'll rotate in some other options to the D1 line. We've got plenty of people who can fill in roles.
As clearly shown, you haven't slowed down even with the missing Claire Trope. So congrats on a great first half, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, y'all.
For me, it feels great. I have played in the DC area for over 20 years. I'm on the older side, and I'm just coming back from having a baby. So for me, it's like this incredible opportunity to keep giving back to the city. I'm feeling like this is like one of the deepest teams I've ever been on. We're battling super hard at practice, and I love that.
Mindset is be better than last year. is take it up a notch, right? Not only do we want our performance to be better, but we want our culture to be better. Finding those little Lego bricks and putting them all together. I think that's what really matters.
I was looking for a sport that I could play recreationally, and I kind of just fell upon the sport. Started getting into it like after college and into the club scene.
And welcome back. Want to shout out some of our sponsors, including DC Veg Restaurant Week. DC Veg Week is a celebration of plant-based cuisine in the nation's capital. Join co-host chefs Spike Mendelson and Tracy McQuarter for some excellent sustainable and nutritious cuisine May 6th through 13th. Check them out at vegdc.org. Also sponsored by Rocket Fizz Soda Pop and Candy Shop, with the largest variety of glass-bottled soda pops and retro candies in America, who pride themselves on carrying unique and fun products for people of all ages. Check them out at rocketfizz.com. And we are joined now from, we're going to be bringing in the Philadelphia Surge coach. Welcome, Coach. How are you today? What do you think so far of Surge playing?
It's a little wet.
A little wet down there, a little windy. Affected you all a little bit. What are you thinking going into the second half as conditions change a little bit?
I'm thinking we're getting the game we expected. We expected a very hard game. We expected DC to take care of the disc and take it away when we weren't careful with it, and that's what we've seen so far. So it's up to us now to do the same thing.
Moving forward into the second half, you're right in this game, just 2 points down. What are some small things you're going to be changing?
Well, from what I've seen, they've done a great job. Their throwers have done a great job of breaking marks, especially on the arounds, taking easy things at high stall counts, and we got to take those away. We're a couple seconds away from some easy blocks and instead let them off the hook a little bit. So that's what we got to take away.
What are some players that you've been most impressed by on Surge?
On Surge?
Yeah.
There are so many players that I've seen. I've played men's my whole life and watched some of these women just absolutely dominate around Philadelphia. And it's great to see players like Raha and Lindsay McKenna up close and see just how good they all are.
And looking forward, as you kind of make these adjustments, are you going to get some more of your D-line players on the field?
That's the goal. The goal is to get a couple of breaks, and then they get to stay on as long as they can keep getting breaks.
Always the D-line intention.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you. Thanks.
See some of the fans here. Starting to get a little drier. Definitely harder to tell whose team is whose, as the market of branded rain jackets has not yet come to fruition in professional women's ultimate or professional ultimate.
I do see some Surge shirts, though, in the bleachers. So die-hard Surge fans coming in despite the tough conditions.
And huge bid from
Leo. That's Leo.
Future of Ultimate here on the field as we see some kids coming out. Asako, I believe you're coaching this year for YCCs, correct?
Yep, that's right. Leo came to our tryouts. Leo's brother Akiva was also on Swing Vote several years ago. He's now playing at UVA. And the Diensfree siblings, there's another Lev brother. Very small still, but super athletic and super fun to watch play.
And even though the rain has slowed down, you still see a lot of sliding there from the layouts.
Yeah, the future of DC area Frisbee right there.
Yeah, I will say the Mid-Atlantic is so clearly, or I shouldn't say so clearly, shows a little bias, but the Mid-Atlantic community is so deep and has been around for so long. One of the older communities in the country, so I think that's another really fun part about this matchup is that, you know, these teams are really built off of a historical legacy, and it's coming today to fruition.
And the youth scene seems stronger than ever, so it's
Yes.
only going to get better.
Yes.
as
Last
everybody
year
comes
was
up.
a little bit sluggish because of immediate post-COVID, but this year we've got so many female matching players out. There's middle school leagues that are becoming the pipeline towards high school. The growth has been really great to watch.
And it seems like it's spread out more across the entire area instead of concentrated at maybe 1 or 2 schools, which is
Yes.
really exciting.
Yes.
And you see adult women's ultimate on both sides also growing,
Yes.
right? DC having
Leaps and bounds.
2 teams last year in the women's club division.
Make nationals.
Make nationals.
Make nationals. Forgot that detail.
Oh, that's a D right there.
And Surge here on the O, and an unfortunate second throw turnover there from Sabado to the middle of the field with a great D from Allie Wallace.
Oh!
Huge bid from Ashley Buke.
Oh, my goodness.
On the fast break.
Oh, my
Almost didn't
goodness.
keep it in, but toes the line with her body on that layout grab.
That's why the fans love Ashley.
Sarah Beer knew Ashley would come through.
Unbelievable.
And just, that's a great start for Shadow. That's a really tough start for Surge. But what do they say about a short point, Asako? A long point is next?
Well, again, short point, long point followed by short point. Short point not necessarily followed by anything.
I feel like trying to learn if a rectangle is a square.
It's a great D by Allie Wallace. Start.
I will say the one thing about it being such a short point, without this sounding demoralizing, you get to just take it away and immediately say, okay, the new challenge is 1 more point, but that's the same challenge. Shake it off, come back again.
Yes.
Walsh and Sabado still back there.
I think there's still some effect from the disc being wet.
Yeah, especially as the disc hits the ground on the pole, unless you catch it. It's going to take up a lot of that moisture.
I walked through the crowd at halftime, and it was still drizzling a little bit. It's not completely stopped.
Okay. To you as our weather expert, having now been the one that left the booth, Molly, would you say there's some wind down there too?
Didn't feel so much wind, but definitely still some drizzle. And yeah, as I think Asako said, definitely plenty of Philly shirts out there also.
Yeah. Impressive number, I would say. Some tight defense here.
And there's just a wet throw again. That's tough.
I think it must have been on 8 or 9. Oh, they're calling a stall.
It looks like a contested stall. Or an uncontested stall. Great defense.
That was great defense.
Great defense.
Reset defense.
Especially Annalise Peters from Pittsburgh picks it up. Finds Wang. Wang and Peters going back and forth. A little give-go movement. Finds Wallace. Richmond finds her Richmond counterpart, Lisa Dang, around to Tremonti.
Lisa's so open.
To Jackie. Wang finds Peters around just outside the end zone.
Annalise is also another player with a lot of cheeky throws in her arsenal.
You saw her fake that scuba. We were noticing her warming that up in
Yeah.
the beginning, even when there was lots of rain.
And you'll bite on that fake because you know she will throw it.
Going to the replay there. That's just a tough throw. But yeah, this little high release, lefty backhand, no pivot. That's a tough throw to mark
It looks like she's actually calling for it. Somebody cut from my lefty backhand.
Cheeky laugh there from Dang. It's good to see her also get pushed. Sometimes as a handler, she can get really pulled back behind the disc, but her background is primarily cutting for Richmond Rebellion. And so she's really effective, not, yes, off the reset, but also off the reset downfield being the continued throw.
Yeah, well, Shadow pulling away a little bit here.
Shadow pulling away, that's 2 points. That's a big break. Surge putting on their D-line players.
They had good luck with that last time, so let's see what happens here.
This is the one thing that I find really hard to coach for in PUL, being a time-based game. You can't always, it's hard to manage balanced playing time from a minutes perspective if one point is longer than another. You see Surge really open up the field there to Hart, right out of that junk look that Shadow threw. Hart now going deep.
Oh,
Wow,
a nice
snag
catch.
there from Searles. Looking for the reset. Can't find it. Hart runs it down. That's a great hold from Surge.
The D-line held.
D-line holds for the O-line. That's going to be a tough thing for Surge to kind of take into the next game, being that the D-line, your D-line offense can hold.
That was the second time this game too.
Yep. But that gives, D-line some momentum. Come out here now. And they're going to need to put a few points back to back, right? Which is good to know, but it's hard to mentally prepare. You can never think more than a point ahead. This also gives Shadow a chance to put their O-line out there, right? O-line really hasn't seen much time on the field, particularly thinking a lot of the points they have played have been short.
Yep.
The key will be staying calm, cool, collected, like we've seen them do.
I think that's one of the real fun perks of having Jenny Faye back. Is like, I think I've rarely seen Faye get disrupted mentally. And if anything, she will dial in her 150 available options to 140.
Right.
Which still makes her such an effective target on the field. High release there from Walker to Normile on the break side. Very deep stack from Shadow. Normile back to Walker in the middle, almost taken away by Soils defending Faye. There's Ritzman to Sevier, back to Ritzman. Downfield, good
nice catch.
grab from Bartlett. Finds Faye in the middle.
Such a solid player, Bartlett.
Yeah. France to Sevier.
Reaching in nicely to prevent the block.
Great D from Gorman. Gorman, O-line player formerly for Scandal. She's looking great on the D-line for Surge. Cheeky throw there from Normile to Megan Bartlett. That was a great put from Normile.
That was very nice.
Back corner, around the shoulder, outside in throw.
And Bartlett, as you said, just such a solid player, with a nose for the end zone.
Yes. She's been making great end zone cuts and catches this season.
For a few years now, she's consistently become a really solid downfield offensive cutter option. Sends Surge O-line back onto the field.
And that was an important O point that they maintained it and kept it. No turns right after their Surge D-line scored. So
puts the pressure right back on Philly to do the same thing so they can get their D-line to work.
Just want to quickly shout out again our sponsors. This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. Spin Ultimate providing custom team uniforms and ultimate apparel since 2007. Visit Spin on the web at spinultimate.com. as well as to Discraft. The Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. And speaking of disc sports, let's get back to the field. You see another semi-junk look, just really focusing on those handler defenses. I take it back. It might not be a junk look. It might just be Jackie Wang doing what Jackie Wang does.
It might have started junk and come out. Oh.
Ooh.
Great toe-the-line catch there from Lane Dodge on Surge. Observer calls it in.
The one part of the sideline without the line drawn.
Yes.
Of course.
Classic. Dodge set up. Monroe on the mark.
Ooh, puts it
Huge
up.
leading throw.
Oh, Lisa putting on the jets.
I feel like Lisa's got secret jets because she's so chill.
Yeah. And we usually see her in the handler space. And then you see her bust deep. It's exciting.
And she does a lot fewer of those 20, 30-yard sprints as she used to do on Rebellion. So it's good to see those legs moving the way they do. This center there from Peters to Malave to Wallace.
Seems to be a little bit of confusion downfield, but they're staying calm.
Good cut-up line from Peters in the reset space. Deep looks for Shadow, a little deep. Resets also a little deep, but the put is going to go up.
Oh, it might be out.
That was really good D from Surge. Almost every option was just completely covered.
Yep.
They did a really good job pushing that stack deep, too. All of a sudden, Shadow was super spread out. They were having to make 10, 15-yard cuts. And the time just isn't there on the resets.
Even the reset was far. Oh, timeout Shadow. Oh, the timeout was called before the throw, maybe.
That was convenient from Shadow.
That was perhaps strategic.
There's one confusing thing I will say. I am not used to staring at the coach and the coach's flag for the timeouts.
Right.
Ty's got a lovely little smile, though. I'm sure he's having a great time throwing that flag.
Right. He's like, I did the thing.
Yeah. And we'll have to see when the disc is getting tapped in, but Shadow putting out a primarily O-line plus Sour Beer and Tremonti staying out there. Or Tremonti and Sour Beer, I should say, going out there.
I assume it comes in at a high stall count.
Right. Whenever the towel was thrown, I guess.
Looks like potentially that was a 4 that Normal was holding up.
All right.
Good reset right away to Sour Beer, to France, to Ritzman, all on the open side there. Good mark on Ritzman from Liz Hart.
Oh.
Huge D from Onoe. That's what you want to see from Surge. And now they're back running. She soils to Onoe. And Ritzman on the other side just steps off of her player, reads the...
Such a smart player.
Reads the throw. Yeah. Walker now to pick it up. Center to Normal. Sevier taking a nice big 30-yard cut. Gets looked off. Great mark there, or great defense from Surge. Normal forced to go around to Walker. Back to Normal with a nice backhand, very quick release. Normal always has had great backhand quick release. The throw goes up. Oh! Huge D from number 33, Graham. Sour Beer almost gets it. But looks like she tripped up herself a little bit instead. Takes a injury timeout. Allie Wallace to sub back in. Mozafari with the disc to pick up.
So close.
Sour beer is always fun when she goes downfield, too.
Mm-hmm.
And Allie Wallace here is always fun to watch on the mark.
Yeah. Quite a wingspan for Wallace.
Yes.
Mozafari feeling it. Good fakes, though. A lot of movement to get that mark open.
That's been a tricky throw for them this game.
Yeah, the resets have consistently been taken away. And I will say, on this D-line, what's interesting, multiple players have gone back into that reset space. You're not seeing a consistent one or two people getting the every other. A little
good movement there.
A little movement now from Soils and Beata Arts on the far side. Good D from Shadow. Onoe now to get the reset. Big throw around to Morse. Looking up. And there's the D from Wallace. Just kind of reaches in, takes it away.
Can't tell if there's a call.
Surge really struggling to get it downfield. You see them looking from stalls 1 through 3. No cutters really active for them. And then at stall 4, they're starting to look at their reset, and their resets all are coming from different positions, which therefore is not presenting the most consistent options. And so it's almost like they take 4, 5, 6 to look, and then they're throwing frantic throws at 7 of the stall. So Walker now to pick up going the other way. Looks like it wasn't a foul. And great swinging movement around.
And Allie with the bookends.
And Allie Wallace with the bookends. What Shadow just did with that movement, that 3 connection swing and score, is something we have yet to fully see from Surge. And there's that D. Wallace just sneaking in, getting in the first touch. We see the look, immediate, looks up line, fakes it off. 1, 2, 3, and Tremonti just the extra touch to Wallace.
Nada so open, almost stole Allie's bookends.
Yeah, I don't know if Tremonti thinks about it like that, but Wallace on the stat board.
I think this is related to what we were talking about at the beginning with the depth of Shadow. Being able to use every person on the field whenever they're open can make a huge difference, and I think Surge might be a little tighter in that way. And it's resulting in them losing a few points, going down a few points.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Jess Sourbeer is up and running and looks healthy. So just a little shaken up from that last bid. Surge's O-line back out there. I do also think chemistry-wise, it's really benefited Shadow to have those reset options. And there's the play we've been wanting to see from the beginning. McKenna with the first cut. Huge throw.
It was a nice throw into space floating in front of her.
To number 25, Sabrina Bonasi on Philadelphia Surge. Talk about a short point. There we go. It's really good.
She identifies and throws very quickly, and the release comes very quickly, which is probably why she's so effective.
Yeah. And McKenna uses her size well. She really steps out and throws to maximize her power from her legs all the way through her arm. So the D-line back out there. Linda Morse with the pull. So if you're Surge, you know, you have about 2 minutes left in the third quarter and a whole fourth quarter. At this point, do you think they have the legs to go person matchup the whole time? Or are you throwing junk looks to kind of throw Shadow off their game?
Yeah, the key is getting a D quickly, right? So
right. They're going to run out of time.
Junk can often be more of a containing look, forcing a lot of throws, but that takes a lot of time. So if we can see the person D put on a lot of pressure a little quicker, that could pay off.
I feel like the D line still has a lot of energy left on Surge.
Not a lot of time on the field. A lot of leg energy to burn.
Nice. Way to sneak that in.
Oh! Walker tried to throw it over the top. Onoe with the deny. She's had a great game.
Yeah, Sumi's getting a lot of Ds. A lot of blocks. A lot of important blocks.
Far center around. I will say the D-line's been having some really long reset throws.
Yes.
Ooh. Oh, and right through the hands of Morse. She's feeling that one.
She's not happy about that.
No, there was a lot of opportune momentum there. And Sevier just sneaks her way through. Fast break there from Shadow. And that's another quick point. That's tough. There was some momentum there from Surge. Just in and out of her hands there. Late bid there from Emma Soros. Good effort. She's having such a great game.
She is.
Excited to see her play club this year. She had a fantastic year last year with Philadelphia Flight, new women's team out of Philly. A few of her teammates with her on that flight squad, including Meg Wadlinger, Allie Milligan, Gwen Rowe, Benish Benjamin.
It's another Rolly pull from Peterson. Probably going to put on another zone.
Yeah, little junk. And there's kind of that time element, as you commented on, Molly, but from a reverse perspective of strategy, right? Shadow wants to run out the clock, so to throw a zone just really slows down Surge's movement. And as you can kind of hear in the background and see the time on your screen, time runs out in the third quarter. So Surge is really going to want to hold on to this one. All they have to do is hold possession. And unfortunately, that's a missed throw from Bova. You don't expect her to miss that throw to Lindsay McKenna much.
No, it was a tight space, but...
The hard thing with zone is you just got to get a lot of throws to the chest, right? Typically, you got people kind of on your back because the goal is to contain, as you said, Molly, instead of necessarily take away.
And that could have been a case of you see McKenna as the receiver and just the trust makes you not as careful with your throw potentially.
She catches everything.
Right.
The idea.
We saw it in the highlight reel at the very beginning of the game, right? Just coming down with all those things. Today's a little different with the rain. Not just for McKenna, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, yes. Quite a few.
It's also hard to maintain your patience and your confidence when you go down 5 points in a tight game like this.
Yeah, you can feel the urgency.
And I think that's the part of being a new team that's just difficult, right? The challenge of growing together and working through stressful situations is not a given or an easy thing to do, and it often can be a very frustrating process.
You don't have that history to feel like we've been here before, we know we can do it.
Yep.
It's all fresh.
Yep.
It's all fresh. And you can even think back to some of Shadow's games last year look a little reflective of what Surge is going through this year, right?
True.
Being ahead against Columbia Revolution in the finals and losing that game. Having some points just go disappointingly because not having that chemistry for last year for Shadow. So it's been a big focus, particularly I would say, for the coaches this year, building off of that and building off the scandal season that also placed a lot of these players together as teammates. One more quarter here.
One more quarter.
Shadow O-line having a great game. I really did think this was going to be the team that was going to slow them down. And despite having a couple more drops, I've been really impressed by Shadow's O-line defense, applying just as much pressure, forcing wide throws from Surge to really make sure that they are getting the disc back, and it's not just an easy break for Surge, who have had not easy breaks, but had a huge break conversion. We talked about that at the beginning of the game. In their whole season, their break conversion has been high.
Well, it's so great to have a line where, you know, anyone can be a handler on that line. Really. Like, it's an embarrassment of riches out there.
Yeah. Which I think is then super fun as a hybrid. Shout out hybrids. To get a chance to go downfield outside of the actual handler space. And the fun part too is because you have so many handlers who can throw, you have so many handlers that can reset and can fill, and you also have a lot of those handlers that like to streak deep. And with the start of the third quarter, this live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. Spin Ultimate, providing custom team uniforms and ultimate apparel since 2007. Visit Spin on the web at spinultimate.com.
All right, if you were the Surge coach, what did you say in this break?
Gotta get a turn.
And do it in a hurry?
Yeah, it's tough because, you know, in basketball, you see at the end of games, they'll do the hack-a-shack strategy, right? The foul to get the team to essentially at least shoot the ball in order to actually get the disc back, or to get the ball back.
Right.
Can't quite do that in Ultimate.
I think I might have said, like, I mean, you don't have the home court advantage, but you have a lot of your fans here. You have a lot of energy that comes from two of the best teams playing each other. So try to feed off of that instead of the more nervousness that you might feel from being down. Just try to feed off the energy of how exciting a game this could be.
Yeah.
That floated a little too much.
And there's a D for Soils, yeah, on the swing from Shadow. Ooh.
Oh.
Nuts.
Lost it on the way down.
Another wide swing. Goes
Big
awry.
bin from Benjamin, and there's just the quick turn, quick capitalization on it from France to Wool. I think for me, I tell Surge to have fun and enjoy it. How many more times this season are they going to be in this mental situation, right? Down points, O-line's not truly connecting, D-line is missing their break chances. The next time these teams will see each other will be in playoffs at championship weekend.
So in a way, this is you want to win this game, but it's also a chance to practice for that.
Yes.
So take advantage of the opportunity.
And no, championship weekend isn't guaranteed for either team, right? Both teams, or Shadow still has to go out and battle Gridlock. You know, these teams won't see each other. It would be a huge win for Shadow if they could take it. They would be undefeated in the bracket. But if Gridlock was to beat them, then you have three teams all essentially with one loss, and it comes down to point differentiation. Big pull there from Allison Maddox.
O-line's back, it looks like, for Surge.
Ali Milligan to Danielle Walsh. Walsh to McKenna.
They're mixing up a little bit. Sumi's moved into the O-line, looks like.
So it looks like they switched over Onoe, Morse, Mozafari, and Hart.
This is coming closer to a universe point line. Sensing the importance of scoring this point.
Morse there to Walsh. Walsh now to Milligan. Looks a little bit like a forced middle.
It's a nice, nice switch on Shadow's side. Oh,
Morse throws it up to McKenna. Ooh, who bodies Jess O out of the way. McKenna is fired up on that one.
Universe point line worked.
That was a quicker point they needed.
Quicker point they needed. They got to still go out here. Their defense has got to get some blocks. I will say I love to see a matchup like that. Jesso on Lindsay McKenna. I also love seeing McKenna go deep. McKenna joined the scene really of top level ultimate. I believe it is in 2018 when she played on Westchester with Danielle Byers. Frequently was the thrower to Byers, so it's nice to see her on the other side of that.
Was Liz Hart on that team as well?
Liz Hart was on that team as well. Yep. Yeah, I miss Danielle Byers in this area, but we're all very happy for her in Minnesota, doing a great job on both strike and dragon thrust.
Catching goals all over the place.
All over the place. Great to see her healthy, because I know when she played Scandal, it wasn't her healthiest year. Big pull there from Ross. Graham on the mark. Looking junky here from Surge, just trying to throw a different look, a little 2-3-2.
Blaze is open. Can't quite get it to her.
That's Graham and Arts in the front there, with Cannon, Gorman, and Rowe in the middle.
Marge throwing a very Jenny Faye-esque throw to Jenny Faye.
Meta. Bartlett out to Sevier. They're actually roommates, so that's pretty cute. Sevier up to Ritzman. Ritzman getting open on a ton of these 10 to 20 yard throws. It'd be fun to kind of see those stats of hers at the end of the season. Big grab from Sevier over Soils. Good bid. Just tripped up legs a little bit.
Great catch under pressure.
Finds Normile around. Up to Walker. Normile cuts up line. France fills in. Good good downfield pressure there.
Yeah, good patience. Good patience.
And Normile just gets the best of Cannon with a little back cut. And Walker finds her. And that's a good hold from Shadow.
Shadow's doing a good job of when they work it down 2 or 3 throws down the sideline, they always try to bring it back into the middle, which has been working for them well, I think.
And they've had those fills there from what I would say, or what I would consider is expected positions on the field, right? I feel like still watching Surge, I'm struggling to see a consistent reset position.
Yes.
Even between their D lines, you never know who's going to be back there. You never know where they're cutting from to support. Whereas Shadow, particularly I would say on their O-line, have had fantastic, give-go movement, even faking the give-go movement to go up line and expecting in that next person from the front of the stack filling in a much more coordinated manner.
System's a little bit more ironed out.
And it's got to be frustrating for Surge to not be able to break that O-line, because without that, they're not going to get close in the scores. Trading points is not an option at this point.
It's true. Surge putting out that same O-line they just put out that looks a little bit more like a universe line, but still struggling to get the reset off. Great D from Peters on Walsh. Huge cut from Hart. Finds Morse. who looks deep to Onoe. Beautiful throw and grab. Great offensive point there from Surge.
That was maybe their best point, their cleanest.
I was also cutting pattern-wise. I felt like the smoothest and the most structured.
Maybe they heard us.
Playing out there with wireless headphones just to hear our lovely voices.
All right, so if that's their Universe O, let's see if we can get a Universe D from Surge to get this break.
And this is the challenge of having a less deep roster.
Yes.
Some of those top players are a little tired.
Right.
You're expecting a little more from them, especially right now with the rain coming back, getting a little stronger. Disc is getting wet. Your legs are more tired. I'm sure your body is going to get a little bit colder again just as it warms up and then cools down in between points and with the temperature change.
Conditions are tough right now.
Big pull there from Ross to Ratcliffe with the grab, finds Walker. Looking off those options. Great cut from Ritzman at the front of the stack. Finds Walker back around. Liz Gardner on the mark. To Normal being marked by Bova. It's Lori with the inside look. Great grab from Ritzman. And the little backhand to Sevier, trailing the play.
Nice catch by Kat Ritzman there.
Very impressed she came down with that.
Yeah, she just kind of fished it in.
Yeah.
Good concentration.
That continuous momentum from Shadow has also been such a game changer.
Yes.
I don't think they've had more throws thrown at the lower stall, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yes.
Whereas
Moving
Surge, Surge is getting the disc and having to pause and then throwing versus that immediate turn and throw having the option.
There's great energy right now.
So 7 minutes left in the game. Shadow comfortably up at this point, 14-8.
Good pull from Allison.
Good pull, good pressure back in that stack. Still a very similar line.
Yes.
Walsh to Mozafari.
It's a nice throw.
See a little bit of a junk poach look now from the handlers just to take away the middle of the field. Hart sneaks back in. McKenna's in the middle. McKenna first look to the end zone. Then looks around to Milligan. Shadow seems to be leaving a player in the middle there open.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, and they were able to find the inside around the poach, but then couldn't get those continues off.
Yeah. Seems like Walsh is throwing a little frantically, trying to score quickly, which is a really, understandable, but a tough mindset.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
McCann.
Nice second effort.
Yeah, a little acrobatics there.
Yeah, nice concentration.
Brian Sourbeer to O. Beautiful throw.
Nice little cheeky blade there.
To McCann. Maddox marked by Morris. Good mark by Morris. Finds the around to Sourbeer. To O. There's the fill. Cutter's very deep. Ooh. Almost on the D from Onoe.
Me again.
To Buke. Looking for the next throw. Surge just looking like they're slowing down a little bit. Oh, Jess Sourbeer to Aaron McKeon. Happy birthday, Jess.
I thought we were going to see Allie Wallace put it up, but nope.
I know.
Sorry, we're take it?
Every once in a while, Jess throws some throws that kind of blow my mind. And that I personally would never throw, so it always gives me this gut-wrenching, like, oh my gosh!
Always fun.
But she does them so well.
Yeah. She's got such poise.
Yeah.
Even when she's throwing something that makes you surprised.
Yes.
That was perhaps a little bit later than we expected it to be. But it worked.
And especially in this rain, great grab from McCann.
Yes, very nice grab. Good concentration.
That's one of those things where it's not a clear highlight reel, but at the same time, I would not want to be in that situation, catching that throw. That is challenging. And that's a break from Shadow.
Yep.
So Shadow's got to be feeling good. I think at this point, you just keep the momentum up. You keep trying to hit the systems that work. You close out the game, right? Closing out the game is a skill in itself amongst a team.
And they want to set a high bar for the DC Breeze playing right after them.
That's right.
Daring them to do better.
That's right.
Oh.
Big throw there. Looks like unmarked.
Foul on the mark.
Foul on the mark of that throw. Good look from Bova downfield.
I think that was
To
trying
Hiranep Monroe, though.
I think she was trying to prevent the around and probably hit the arm.
It's tough. Sometimes you want to take momentum away, and part of that is the accidental foul. This is going to reset. Shadow gets a little lucky. They can kind of get their heads on their shoulders. You see this downfield poach flex between the handler defenders. Sabado to Benjamin. Sabado a little bit more on the front foot.
Oh, it slipped off. Rainy day flick again.
Challenging.
Rainy day flick strikes again.
That was good. That was a good cutting movement there from Surge. Finds Boyle, Matty Boyle there in the middle, the Oregon Fugue alum. They find Peters striking up line. Peters fakes the hammer to somebody cutting about 30 yards away, so I would have loved to see that just for fun, but smart hold. Finds wing around. Outside to Dang.
This is where it's nice that they have double options.
Doing a good job at cutting from the front of the stack. The throw just a little bit behind Malave there, but that throw to Wallace, very much looking for that front initiation. Benjamin to Bova. Benjamin really doing a great job stepping into this O-line.
Oh, Jackie with the D.
That's a Jackie style D right there. A little awkward, somehow laying out.
And somehow effective. Oh,
but
another rainy day flick.
Slippery
disc again.
From Lisa Dang. We're going to have a highlights video from this and a lowlights, the weather wins
There's
video.
at least 5 of those just to flutter away.
Sabado there. Great grab through pressure. Finds Hiranep. Sabado with some late game energy. You see her cutting just a little bit quicker as soon as she releases the disc. It's good momentum.
But these long points, I mean, that's what Shadow just needs to hold them down.
It's not helping Surge at all. The other challenge, too, you think about in basketball, right? You have some late opportunities. You have a few players that are going to be able to hit those three-pointers to get you back in the game. Surge's, in order to get those quick points, you need to have big, long throws, and they have been very unsuccessful on throws beyond 35 yards. So you're not looking at, they don't really have that in their pocket at the moment to pull that out.
Right. The Shadow defense downfield has been very effective.
Yeah, I haven't seen many people shooting from Surge other than McKenna.
No.
Maybe Tucker, but...
Tucker, Walsh a little bit, but even so, you haven't really seen many people. You haven't seen that be a consistent connection. And one thing here going into the end of the quarter, trying to figure out, it looks like some clock issues. Or no, it looks like a timeout on the field. Is that there's no, at the end, when the clock runs out, at the end of the fourth quarter, the game is over. So that's even less time, right?
Yeah.
Which there's a different level of frustration in professional ultimate than club ultimate because you just watched the time run out.
Yep.
Your hopes and dreams, whereas, you know, you can't get it back, right? You throw it away, the time runs out, you can't get it back. It's that frustrating finality to a point. Surge takes that timeout. They're going to put on, you know, their strongest O-line players right now.
Maybe we'll see the return of that universe line.
At this point, it's one of those moments where, you know, if you're going to lose the game, it's your road to championship weekend becomes a lot harder.
Yes.
And so how can you buckle down, learn the lessons that you need to in this game, finish strong enough to give yourself momentum going into the rest of the season and not letting those, you know, expectations get away with you. It's making it's virtually impossible, not impossible, but it's going to be extremely difficult to get 8 points in the next 2 minutes.
Right.
For
well,
Surge.
I think you can say it's impossible. But
well, like we were saying,
but maybe every point matters.
Exactly. Like we were saying, if Shadow and Gridlock goes Gridlock's way, then point difference can really matter.
Right.
Exactly.
So you want to win by as many points as you can.
Yep. Great grab there from McKenna to save possession. And Surge getting some momentum here. Great defense, though, taking away that reset option. Finds Walsh, though. Good score. Yeah, I will say at this point, for as much as, you know, Surge wants to let Shadow score quickly in order to get back on the field, it might almost be in their best interest to throw a junk at this point, run out the clock so they can't increase that scoring gap.
Right. Better to lose 15-9 than 16-9.
Right. Or force yourself to have to get 16-10 to still maintain that 6-point goal differential. Want to really tip my hat off to Shadow right now. Their O-line has not slowed down at all.
No.
We have not seen a crack in them at all. A couple throws or drops just based on the rain and the conditions, but for the most part, they've been pretty much perfect. This is becoming a team. I mean, they played this well. This O-line played this well last time they're at home. So maybe this is one of those teams. This is going to be a legendary home field advantage, which obviously if you're watching on the screen, you're not here, so we're sorry. But please come out to the next game. It's going to be a huge one versus Raleigh Radiance. A lot of players from Phoenix on that team. So there are Raleigh Phoenix, the club team. So definitely a team that Scandal played a lot last year. So players really know each other.
Oh, and that'll be Saturday, June 3rd, I believe.
June 3rd, yes, right back here at Carlini Field. Tough first cut throw or drop there from Bartlett, maybe just slightly behind her. Still forces Surge to go about 60 yards.
This could be the first break.
This is the last minute of the game. I mean, that would be...
Oh, the towel was thrown again. Flag or towel, I don't know what it is exactly. This green thing.
Is a flag a towel? Is a towel a flag?
I think they want to put in that line again, perhaps.
Both teams really getting a chance to flex some of their tough coaching calls, right? What players are you bringing in and when?
Another skill.
Yes. With 50 seconds left on the clock.
And show me from the back. Hey, let's grind up.
Getting a little insight there from the Surge huddle. putting out one of their stronger lines here.
Looks like it.
It's always a two-sided sword or a two-pointed sword. Getting my metaphors wrong, but when you have to put out your essentially top players, you know, it's one always challenging emotionally if they don't do well, but I think it's tougher, you know, sometimes being at the bottom of that roster. Big throw deep to McKenna.
Oh, that's the break.
That's the break, and if you needed a quick point, that was a quick point.
Yes.
That's the Caitlin Clark throw up, terrible line. That's the Caitlin Clark throw and catch you wanted to see.
Yes, because the point diff is going to matter come championship weekend.
That is correct. Now within 5. Surge has got to hold Shadow again.
McKenna with the catch with 3 DC Shadow players on them. Getting to double digits now, so.
With me? You know my run. Can they get another one before the time runs out?
Let's see, 45 minutes left on the clock. 45 seconds, not minutes.
Whoops. That would be quite the marathon point.
The ultra marathon of Ultimate.
Yeah. I wonder if it's been recorded the longest point, either time-wise or throw-wise, like the longest hold.
Believe me, when you coach high school Ultimate, sometimes it feels very long.
Just
if anyone watching knows that, you can put that in the comments.
Yeah. Remember, we love the future of Ultimate.
Yeah. We very much do. We very much do.
Shadow looking smooth so far. There's Normile in power position. Getting close to time running out. The around to Lori.
They're taking their time.
Taking their time. You'd think Soils and Mozafari in the back there are keeping their eyes up as a last back option just to take away any.
Oh, so many options.
Oh, and the buzzer goes off. That is game for Shadow. I have to say, that is the most adorable person to be put in that role because Ritzman is such a solid, no turnover thrower that for her, you could just see the stress in her eyes trying to throw up a buzzer beater. That
she had
adorable.
too many cuts.
Yeah.
Right. But she wasn't going to risk it just to get it in on time.
Well, they did a fantastic job in this tough matchup.
That's a really good game from DC Shadow. They've got to be proud about this, especially having such a great game systems-wise and score-wise without their star, Claire Trope. Also for championship weekend, they'll be bringing in Kimmy Groom. So there's that, you know, this team won't be the same team that'll see Surge. Surge, you got to be hyped, though, playing a great team. Your first loss being to a great team that has a shot at the championship. That's all you can ask for from you and your teammates. What a great game. Thank you all for sticking through us. Shout out to the fans on the field. 15-10, your final score. DC turning into 4-0 wins and losses in the season, taking in that first place in the division. We are going to be going to a break now, and we'll be right back with an interview with one of our star players.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
And we're going to shout out our sponsors, DC Veg Restaurant Week. DC Veg Week is a celebration of plant-based cuisine in the nation's capital. Join co-host Chef Spike Mendelson and Tracy McQuarter for some excellent, sustainable, and nutritious cuisine May 6th through 13th. So please take a look at their website, vegdc.org, and catch them tonight. And shout out to Rocket Fizz, Soda Pop, and Candy Shop. We have the largest variety of glass-bottled soda pops and retro candies in America. They pride themselves on carrying unique and fun products for people of all ages. Check them out at www.rocketfizz.com. See players there on the sideline. And we are joined now by our player of the game, Ashley Buke. Ashley, so good to see you healthy and running around. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great, Laurel. I spent a lot of this season injured so far, so it feels good to be getting back to full health and being able to come out here, play really hard, and then play against Philly, who a lot of them were our teammates last year on Shadow. And we just put on a great show across the board tonight, so it felt very good.
Amazing. And if you could shout out some of your teammates now, who would you shout out?
I think all of our D-line players just really brought it today and just fought through this weather, and we're making huge plays across the board and just really putting Philly in a kind of an off-kilter position. But our offense, I don't think they had maybe one point where they turned it over and didn't score. And so I really do want to shout out our whole O-line. They just really crushed it and brought it today.
The really cool thing is seeing the O-line be so strong, and it gives you all on D-line a chance to really just focus on being the D-line and not having to focus on, converting after they get broken. Moving forward, going into the rest of the season, what are you most looking forward to?
Just going up to New York next week and really just bringing it on the road. We had a little bit of a tough game last week against Portland on the road, and so just to come out next week and just play really clean and then play very tight defense, and then just roll into the rest of the season, hopefully the championship weekend.
And about to show your incredible highlight, great bid on the back of the end zone. Absolutely, you're looking in top shape, Ashley. I know it's been a tough season with injuries. What are you doing to heal, and how's the rest of the team staying so healthy?
I've been undergoing rigorous PT from a few different people, and I've just been able to get back in the weight room and then get out in the field and do a lot of agility and footwork type stuff, which I hadn't been able to do over the past month or so, and I'm really starting to feel that, and I think it's showing on the field.
It's definitely showing on all sides, and it being a Pride match, is there anything you want to say really quick?
Yeah, it's just so special to be out here and be able to represent the LGBT community as both like a trans woman and a lesbian, and to see like how the fans are getting into it, and then our team and just the support across the board. And so it feels really great to be out here and to really represent, especially at a time in the country where it's just kind of attack after attack on marginalized individuals, but particularly LGBT athletes.
Thank you so much for all you've done, for all of your work on the field. You look great out there. So good luck in the rest of the season, and congratulations on the win.
Awesome. Thank you, Laurel.
Thank you. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. That's DC Shadow 15 over Philadelphia Surge 10. And we appreciate you signing off. This is Laurel Oldershaw with Asako Yamamoto and Molly Roy.